Yeah, what's good, people? Nice of you to join me out for my walk today in the park. And I just really want to talk about the changes in technology with electric cars. Now, there's been news of a new Tesla Model S long range plus, not the long range, but a long range plus. And apparently, this is the first car now to go officially over 400 miles in range. And that's an important thing because we're getting to the point now where electric cars are being able to do ranges that normal ICE cars can do. And that's refreshing because it gives us then a reason to go out and start to invest in electric cars because we don't have to worry about things like range anxiety. Now, range anxiety, guys, is a real thing. Yes, me and Lisa have driven a lot of electric cars, and we know electric car owners, and obviously we're in the market to get one ourselves. So along our journey, we've done a lot of research in terms of how the ranges work. And the problem is people want their cake and they want to eat it too. But what Tesla has been able to do is astonishing because most of the electric cars on the market, and I would say 90% of them, are averaging about 250 miles in terms of range. And they're able to hit the 350 and now 400. And I think that that's amazing and it's really going to start to turn heads. But is it going to start an electric car revolution? No, no, it definitely won't. Because, guys, the further range you go, the more batteries you need in your car. And the more batteries you need in your car, the more expensive the car will cost to make. Thus is the problem with this situation. Now, with all due respect to Tesla, they've done a fantastic job, and I think the only thing I was disappointed about with the test was that the guy, leave the link in the description below, he was averaging 57 miles per hour. Now, I don't know about you guys, but if I'm driving 400 miles, hell no am I doing 56 miles an hour. I'm more like driving between 80 and 90 miles an hour. I hope the police ain't watching this video. But anyway, in other words, it's great that a car can do that, but it's not in real world conditions, in my opinion. So how are we going to change this? There's three subjects here, so I'll get that first one out of the way. So how are we going to change this? Well, there's only one answer, guys, and it's solid state technology. Solid state batteries within the next 3 to 5 years are going to take over the world. And for those of you guys who don't know what that means, solid state batteries is basically a solid electrolyte battery. So the batteries that you and me use, at the moment, they are grafted together with liquid or polymer gel. So the internal makeup of the battery is quite placid. It's very loose, has a lot of cracks in it, and over time it degrades even further. So there's more cracks, and the battery then becomes to a point where it's unusable. This happens a lot in a lot of lithium batteries. With solid state, there's no cracks, no leaks, no nothing. Hence the battery is more denser. More dense battery gives you a lot more cells. More cells gives you more power. More power means that you've been able to run whatever you're running for longer. So in the next 3 to 5 years, our phones, our tablets, our computers, laptops, our electric cars, all of these things will have far greater battery long life and power than what we're accustomed to. This means that, and the technology is being working right now as we speak, this means that as far as getting a 100 kilowatt battery, you'll be able to have a 200 kilowatt battery that weighs exactly the same. Remember, weight is everything with electric cars. The more power, the more range you have, the heavier the car and the more costly. So if they're able to put as much cells in existing spaces as they are, then you're essentially going to be able to double your range. So instead of 400 miles, you'll be able to get 800 miles. And if you're driving a car like me, which only does 4 to 450 miles on a full tank, well then electric cars have the capability to completely surpass that and more. Tesla's always talked about things like the 1,000,000 mile battery, which by the way is astonishing. Now can you imagine The average petrol car will last about 120,000 miles on the clock before the engine dies. An average diesel engine would easily go over 250,000 miles, which is 250,000. Essentially, if you're making, which is what Tesla are doing, a 1,000,000-mile battery, then what you're doing is you're furthering the lifelong efficiency. A battery, an engine, it's not an engine, it's a battery, but the lifelong distance of a car now would be over 7 times more than a normal petrol engine car that we're driving now. Can you imagine? People throwing their cars away after it's done 150,000 miles because the engine's dead. 1,000 moving parts in there, and it just degrades over a time. Cost among cost among cost, service among service among service. But with an electric car, well, there's no service, is there? Have you ever spoken to someone who's put their car in for a service which is electric? They check the tires, they change the battery and the key, they might change the windscreen wipers, but that's about it. So what we're dealing with here is if we design a car with a 1,000,000-mile battery, you're essentially having it long lasting to give down to hand down to your kids. So if you like the look of the car and how it drives and everything else, there's no reason for you to sell it. It's zero emissions. It's literally service free. Apart from most of these companies are doing 8-year warranties on their batteries anyway. You just literally drive the thing till the wheels fall off, and that's not a figure of speech either. So that's where we are on that, guys. But overall, I bet your next question is, but Apollo, electric cars are expensive. They're 50, 60, 70, 80 grand. Yeah, they are. You know why? Because you want range. That range anxiety we were just talking about 5 minutes ago, that's something that is driving the market to make these cars bigger and faster and longer and more efficient and the higher ranges. That's what you want. You don't want a car which is essentially a town car. You don't want a Mini, or some of you might, but you don't want a Mini that gives you 120 miles, do you? Well, if you do, that's great, because then you're talking around price ranges of around 25,000. And for this market to grow, unfortunately, guys, that's what's going to have to happen. For the market to grow, we're going to need a plethora of cars on sale for around the 20 to mid 20,000 mark in order for this to really G up. Because until that happens, charging infrastructures and things like that will never really improve to the level they need to in order to facilitate something like electric cars in the UK. But guys, the dam is broken. Can't stop it now. The wave is here. So really, guys, that's just my update for you on electric cars and where the solid state battery technology is. This thing is getting better and better and better. And look, buying an electric car right now is like buying a computer. As soon as you buy it, it's out of date, because the software increases, the efficiency increases, the range increases. It's not like us when we're buying a normal car. Could you imagine? Yeah? That car that you own right now, since the time you owned it, all it's done is degraded. The engine's degraded. The efficiency is degraded. The fuel consumption is degraded. But that doesn't happen with electric cars. From the time you buy an electric car and drive it out of the showroom, it gets over-the-air updates, which means your efficiency is improved. Your range is improved. Teslas even have a quicker 0 to 60. The speed's improved. That's not conventional, is it? Strange. But guys, listen, thanks a lot for that, and thank you for subscribing to this new channel. I appreciate the support from all of you guys, and we just cover various amount of subjects. Yeah, and that's it. Enjoy being with you guys. Peace, and I'm out. Nice one, right back at you. Hashtag stay home, hashtag with me. Nice one, guys.